Yeah. J1, what it do? Running. This how I feel about you. Like I can't live without you. No air, no air, can't breathe, no, I can't live without you. Can't lie, I try, I did. Yeah, boo, I must admit, I do whatever asked, except jump off a bridge. Now that's some stupid shit. Shit that we do for love. Not saying what I won't do. I just won't do that much. I've done some crazy stuff. Like even lie for you, cry for you, stole for you. Shit I'm not supposed to do. Stood out in the cold for you. Walked through the hardest rain. Even saw you with the other guys, and that's the hardest pain. So in my hardest pain, I want you to myself. Yeah, I'm so selfish, boo, I can't see you with no one else. Yeah, I'm so insecure, so secure when you around. You make it better, baby, and never let me down. It's first, last, cause that's what I'm used to. I ain't talking about no chick, I'm talking about Houston.
All right, y'all. So I'm steady. Sorry if I'm not paying attention right now. But hi, Kristen. Oh, hey. I'm sorry I did not see the chat, and I actually did not even have my timer on, letting you guys know that I was in the middle of a sprint. So my apologies. My apologies. So right now, and thanks for joining, and thanks for a first time chat. Oh, why isn't it not letting me? Is Kristen, did Kristen leave? Um, right now I'm actually working on, I'm creating invoices right now for Books and Bounty. I was sick earlier this week, and these are actually supposed to be sent out on Monday. So I'm like, and this is the like the angst of being an entrepreneur. Like, if you don't get the stuff done and get the quotes out and the invoices out and all that housekeeping to keep the money and cash flow coming in, and it doesn't happen. And people, but I've gotten a few new tools to help me along. I'm using right now, I'm using Microsoft Working Hours. I don't know if it's by Microsoft, but it's a working hours app. But then I realized that it costs money on Apple. I don't know if it's free on Android or not, but that's annoying. So I might switch. But I needed something to help me track hours a little bit better than just Google Tasks. Um, and so that, because I can put in different rates and all that other stuff. So working hours is what I'm using, and so I'm putting in some invoices, and so I should be done hopefully within the next 20 minutes. I'm trying to get that done by 6:30, and then I need to chill. Today has been a day I've had to blow up with the fella in front of the kid, and it was really really bad. Like my motivation to get other things done, because like today, like I'm supposed to be doing like digital promo collateral for Books and Bounty, not other clients. I have a pop-up, a date available for pop-up, and if I don't get the promo out this week, then it's just like silly. Like, but we actually have a few vendor spots open. If you're local and bookish, let me know. But finishing up tonight, I have a goal. I'm going to finish up Skinfolk, which is hard for me to say because this is a collection of short stories. So it's to me, like with a short story, unlike books which can be broken up into small chapters. If a short story is 30 pages, then it's hard not to read it in one sitting. And in this collection by Nalo Hopkinson, Skinfolk, there's a few challenging stories in here. There's one that is really tripping me up, and it's like, is the story not for me, or is it I need to really discuss this with another literary mind to figure out what the heck is going on here? And that's the story Under Glass. I think it's like the third or fourth story. But anyway, I've got this version. This is the 19 no 2018 reprinted edition, published by Open Road Integrated Media. This cover design is by, I love when I get to shout out the designers and when they credit them in the book. The cover design is by Ian Koviak. It's really pretty for the type of dark fiction that's in this book. The cover is quite soothing, and I wish I knew what type of flower that was because I know it has some significance. But that's what I'm working on tonight. I'm going to be reading and probably doing some design work. I'm behind on my writing for Books and Bounty. If you guys go and look at like the blogs and book reviews, you'll see the last book review is probably from the spring. So yeah, pretty busy. What are you up to, Kristen? What you been writing? What you been up to lately? What are you reading right now? I had a wonderful conversation and some suggestions to add to my list for my season of reading. I'm going to be switching probably in a couple weeks after Thanksgiving, getting into December, where I'll be featuring a lot of like bookish, more of the bounty of Books and Bounty. I'm trying to get, there's a local couple who built a word game I met at the Baltimore Book Festival. There's another local chef who creates custom curated seasoning and mixes based on the type of reading you like or stories, favorite stories. What else? When the bounty, we're going to have a few booksellers and wholesalers come on and talk about how the benefits of getting in with how to avoid Amazon and such, like looking out for that. But that's the interviews that we have packed going into the holiday season. So again, more of the bounty than the books. We also will be looking more at children's books and graphic novels during the holiday season. So tune in. I'll have the updated reading schedule on social media soon. But since you're here, Kristen, and want to know what I've been reading, again, it's been new Gothic literature. I stumbled upon an article from People Press, that's Peepal Press. They're out of the UK. They're actually the largest publisher of black books out of Britain and the Caribbean. And they have a wonderful article on Caribbean Gothic, which is a subgenre that I was privy to some of the authors, but I just did not recognize the subgenre as something like that I've ever studied or looked into or period, like even heard of in a bookstore anywhere. And I'm like, what is that? And then Caribbean Gothic took me down a whole loophole into new Gothic literature, new Black Gothic, Southern Gothic literature. And so I said, okay, I need to take some time to really look at that, right? And so I told myself for this year, spooky season, that I was going to take a deep dive into all of it. And we started out with, if we're looking at, traditional Gothic literature, started way back when, I think the Victorian or Elizabethan area, something like that, in Europe. So think Dracula, castle, dungeons, ghosts, haunted houses, things like that. And Frankenstein made its way over, mixed with folklore and monsters of West African culture, and traveled along the transatlantic slave trade to the Caribbean. That gives you folks contemporary, we're talking about contemporary fiction. So now you have the daughters and sons of that literature. Let me turn this music down a little bit. Speaking of which, you're now listening to Jazz Rubies, one of the new music sponsors here at Books and Bounty. And so then we said, okay, Caribbean Gothic, what's that all about? And if you can imagine things like Dracula's castle and these sort of idyllic settings that have really dark underbellies and dragons and lairs and torture chambers, etc. Monsters and shapeshifters, werewolves, these are all part of Gothic tropes. Make its way over into the Caribbean Gothic tradition. As you can imagine, the castle translates into the plantation house, and werewolves translate into, I'm going to butcher this. Oh gosh, hold on, wait. What is the name? Oh, so sequoians, and the shape-shifting wolf figure is called a lagahu. And so I went in there. We had Brianne McIver was on the show earlier this year, which is a author who writes in that tradition. Then we took it from there and moved into the States. Again, we're following that. This is a sort of subgenre that followed the path of the transatlantic slave trade, and then made its way into the Americas and touched the South first, And so you get a lot of Southern Gothic literature. Some things that are more traditional and fun. When I was looking at trying to figure out some Southern Gothic literature, Gothic, trying to get some graphic novels in this genre, right? Swamp Thing is one. Harrell County, the Tales from Harrell County. There's a really another famous stories in the Southern Gothic tradition. Some other contemporary writers in the Southern Gothic tradition include, and these are Kate Chronister. This just came out, I think this came out last year. The Bog Wife. We have a few, and this is actually I found out that there's actually a Mexican Gothic subgenre, but so I don't know. Well, this is questionable. This is Southern, but this was actually a suggestion from Hello Comics in Charlottesville, Virginia, when I was talking about the journey that I'm on, the reading journey I'm on right now. And this Carmen Amarillo Machado, she has come up as a recommended read before on Books and Bounty. So this is Lolo Woods. This is another graphic novel in the Gothic tradition. She has a collection of short stories that was featured on Books and Bounty, Her Body and Other Parties. And so it was pretty cool getting a recommendation by one of the authors that was already on my shelf. And then we also have some other, and that sort of translates into new Black Gothic literature. So you have folks like S.A. Cosby, Hannah Rive-Du, who's generally a horror writer, has a lot of books that can fall into that category, such as The Reformatory. So I have that as a honorable mention here. Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward, and also The Book of Night Women by Marlon James. Some other sort of new Gothic literature. It's contemporary literature, but it's more in the traditional Gothic sense. And one is Ty Jess Germa's Immortal Dark. We have traditional vampire stories there, as well as this is from a local publisher, a mid-sized publisher here in the Chesapeake Bay area, Mason Jar Press. Has an author, Dave Kay, and oh gosh, what is the title? So this is one I really need to read this season because I think it's going to be hilarious. But it's The Bong Ripping Brides of Count Dragato. And then I have some honorable mentions for some other local authors. For example, Esterline Violette is Coconut Paradise, Part 1. It has some of the folklore from the Caribbean tradition, as well as Haunt Sweet Home by Sarah Pinsker, which is more of a romance novel, but again has some Gothic mechanisms in it. So that's another honorable mention. Oh, you've been making an audiobook. Are you performing the audio? Are you performing, or are you do you have a voiceover actor doing the audio, or going through an agency? Are you doing it yourself? A lot of authors that ask me about audiobooks. I do have some voiceover. Actually, I have one lady who has an entire voiceover small business, and then I have some voiceover actors in my life that I send folks to who have questions about audiobooks. But I don't know much about them other than how to put them in a contract and a license, like a licensing and permission, how to sell those rights. So, but the actual bringing it into production is something I actually have not done. I actually have not gone through the life cycle of an audiobook before. AI program for now to make it. Okay, you gotta do what you can do until you can scale up. But I also recommend for folks to build out, you know, continue to build out your bookish communities, you know what I mean? And network, especially online in the Twitch writing world and the virtual writing world. I don't know, Kristen, if you're part of the writing streamers group, the same page. I believe I'm seeing you. Um, but it's a wonderful network of techish writers and bookish folk who stream and really were some of the founders of the writing and reading channel, like getting that official category here on Twitch. And they, when you know, get into groups like that and build relationships like that, you never know what you can barter and trade when it comes to services, editorial services, and publishing service. So I highly encourage folks, and it's hard for us because book folk and writers tend to be introverts, you know, but find your people, find your circle, and network. You never know what sort of talents you could come across or help you may find uh, that way.